After sitting with Anime Vanguards Update 2, I figured I would give you guys my top 5, plus a couple extra reasons I personally would start getting into the game. I know a lot of people have recently been playing Anime Adventures, or even Anime Reborn, since both games, well, Anime Adventures re-released and Anime Reborn's new, so I can totally see why some people wouldn't be playing Anime Vanguards right now, but I think Update 2 is the perfect time to get into the game, and at least secure your account before the game updates more and people start getting back into the game, and then you're sort of behind, you know? So with that said, I wanted to give you guys my top 5 plus a couple extra reasons I would get into Anime Vanguards in Update 2. At the end of the day, this is just my opinions, and what might get you back into a game might be different than what would get me back into a game, but I still think it's worth making a video on, and I still wanted to talk about it, so just keep that in mind. Starting off at number 5 is the new story, legend stages, and new units in this update. So this update's a Fate-inspired update, which means there's a new Fate-inspired story, legend stages, and of course units. The new legend stage features a quest line for Gilgamesh. I'm pretty sure the second legend stage drops an item, which then prompts you to do the quest to get him. It's pretty interesting. If you've grinded for Toji in the past, or plan to, it's pretty similar to that. There's also something called a command seal shop now, which you can get command seals from the new story, infinite, and legend stages. And the shop just features your basic shop items. It has essence stones, EXP food, trait rerolls. I will get into the trait rerolls later, so just keep that in mind for now. I'd also like to point out that this update does feature a couple of units that do change up the meta. Previously, the meta was pretty basic, with mainly just Gojo dominating at the top, along with a couple other units like Alucard and, I don't know, Tengen maybe. Just, it was a really basic meta, but I've heard that a couple of the units from this update are pretty good, so if you really want to get back into the game and just have new units to grind for that are worth it, I think now would be a pretty good time too. Moving on to number 4 is the new weekend boost. So during the weekend, which is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there's 2 times player XP and challenge rewards. So challenges give things like rerolls, stat chips, and essence stones, along with XP and gold, I think. And now on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you get 2 times all of those. So basically grinding challenges is a lot more worth it, and again, getting things like rerolls and essence stones is way easier. Now, number 3 on my list is the new endgame content called World Lines. It's essentially like the Anime Adventures Infinity Castle, but with a slight twist. If you've ever played Lethal Company, you'd be familiar with how different worlds have different weathers and status effects, and that's essentially how this works. Each floor has a different weather or status effect, if you will, and that really just changes how it's played. You might have Namek, or just some really low-level easy world, but the weather might be you need to bring this type of unit, or your units do way less damage if they're not this element, something like that. Every 5 floors also gives rewards, which is interesting. I don't have a full list of the rewards, I just know that I think floor 5 gives around 50,000 gold, and it was pretty easy to get there. Overall, if you're someone who's looking for new endgame content outside of Paragon, I think this is a really good option for you, honestly. The rewards are pretty good, it's pretty challenging. You have to, at least in my experience, you can't just brute force it with damage. You need to take into account the weather, and it's overall just really fun. There's a lot to grind, and I think it's pretty future-proof, because the devs can do a lot more with this in future updates. Coming in at number 2 on my list is how easy it is to evolve units right now. So with this update, they introduced something called Dismantling Essence Stones, which is essentially you can take a higher rarity Essence Stone and turn it into green Essence Stones. So you can take, for example, a red Essence Stone and turn it into 2 green Essence Stones, I think. Every Essence Stone except the rainbow ones give you 2 Essence Stones when dismantled. So the rainbow ones give 15. And I think it costs around 1,500 gold to dismantle, but it seems pretty worth it if you have a surplus of a certain amount of Essence Stone, and you need to evolve a unit. On top of that, there's the 2 times weekend rewards that I mentioned earlier, which will definitely give you a bunch of essence stones if you really need them to, evolve a new team or evolve one of the new fate units, whatever the case may be. Personally, I don't like grinding for green ones, so now that there's 2 times rewards for the higher rarity ones, evolving units is way easier. You can either just buy them from the shop as well. I think every single shop now gives essence stones. There's the gold shop, the command seal shop, the Don raid shop, there's the Demon Slayer raid shop as well, there's the Jujutsu Kaisen shop. All of them give essence stones now. So if you are really in need of higher rarity essence stones, or even the green ones, you can now get them way easier. Lastly, and probably the reason that most of you clicked on this video, is the rerolls. So in the thumbnail that I'm going to be using for this video, I actually didn't get the amount of rerolls right. There's actually more. So the thumbnail should say something like 325 rerolls when it's actually 345. So in this update, they increased the level cap from 100 to 150, and every 5 levels gives you 5 rerolls. So that's essentially 50 rerolls just from the level rewards alone. On top of that, the Command Seal shop gives 20 rerolls, the Curse shop, the JJK shop, gives 50 rerolls, the Don raid shop gives 200 rerolls, and the Demon Slayer raid shop gives 25. So if you were to go and just grind all of those out just for the rerolls, that's 345 rerolls alone just from doing that content. There's also now something called unit normalizing, which essentially means you can take any rarity unit and take away their shiny in return for 5 rerolls. It doesn't matter the unit rarity, it should work on every single rarity, even the Vanguard units and secrets and exclusives. Also, at the time of recording this video, there is a New Year's code that gave 40 to 50 rerolls. I think it was around 40 or 50. The code is Happy New Year, or Happy New Years, all capitals. That one should give, again, around 40 or 50 rerolls. I'm not including that in the thumbnail just because codes do expire, and I know this game's a bit greedier with their codes. But again, a code with 40 to 50 rerolls on top of everything I mentioned, that puts you at almost 400 rerolls this update. So if you quit the game because you needed better traits, or you just wanted to get a better team, or if you needed more endgame to grind, I think this update is a really, really great time to get back into the game. Is it a permanent fix? No. Is there more I think the devs could have done, especially with how much they hyped up this update? Also yes. But I do think that if you were thinking of giving the game another shot, if you wanted more rewards, if even just something like the 2 times challenge rewards interests you, then I think now's a really great time to get back into the game. I definitely think there's more that could have been done this update, especially because Anime Adventures is out right now, and a lot of you still probably won't come back to the game. There's still a lot of content that Anime Adventures has that this game doesn't, and I think the devs are definitely going to have to do more moving forward if they want to compete. But I do think cutting them a little bit of slack here and saying, okay, there's a lot of rewards this update, it's a pretty easy update to get back into, there's a lot you can grind now, and again, almost 400 rerolls is insane. You know, if you wanted a Monarch on one of your units, now is definitely the time to get grinding. You can almost guaranteed get a good trait on one of your units. With all of that said, these are my top 5 reasons that I would get into Anime Vanguards during Update 2. If there's anything I missed, or anything in this update that did bring you back to the game that I didn't mention, then feel free to let me know. Overall, I think this update's a good step in the right direction. I do still have my gripes with the game. I do think the devs, again, could have done more, but I do think if you look at it just from a content and reward standpoint, which is definitely giving them a lot of room and space and slack, I think it's a pretty solid update. But with all that said, that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Again, if you have any reasons that you got into this update that I didn't list out, or maybe something that I missed or didn't talk about enough, then feel free to let me know.